5609 is requesting an environmental impact study of motor vehicle non-exhaust particle emissions. Now, you all saw that we received, just moments before the hearing, a letter from the RIDOT regarding this bill and their concerns. And as I struggle to locate that letter, which I guess is really irrelevant, their concerns were that they weren't sure what the cost would be of this. This bill, which I'm going to explain in detail, would very easily be able to be achieved, oh, thank you so much, through the EC4, which, as you know, is the governing agency charged with implementing the Act on Climate. And furthermore, the EC4 has no restrictions as it pertains to cost. Their charge was to disregard cost and do what has to be done in order to implement it. So if DOT is going to claim that they don't know how much it's going to cost, then I can simply amend the bill to go to the EC4, and then it doesn't matter what it costs. So that should hopefully address DOT's letter. What are non-exhaust emissions? This is something that I came upon at a conference. I think it was actually here in Newport with the State Legislative Leaders Foundation on renewable energy and on pollution. As you know, we've come a long way in reducing tailpipe emissions through various EPA standards. We've come a long way from leaded gas in the 70s up to what are vehicles that produce a lot less tailpipe emissions. However, one overlooked area, and again I found it to be fascinating, was this non-exhaust emissions. This is a hidden pollution, and it is coming from internal combustion engines, motor vehicles that run with internal combustion engines, as well as electric vehicles. They don't have tailpipes, obviously, but they're still, because they're heavier, 20 to 50% heavier than a standard counterpart, internal combustion counterpart, their impact is even a little bit higher. So what are these? These are emissions that come from the wear of the tires of vehicles as they go over the roadway, the wear of the roadway itself, the wear of the brake pads on the cars. These create dust. We all know that when we clean our car, that our wheels have that dust all around them. That's micro fragments of metals, of toxins, of things that are constantly being released from our vehicles. There are health hazards that are involved with these fine particulates that are emitted, and they include lung disease, cardiovascular disorders, cancer, and cognitive decline. The tire particles contain microplastics, which is something that we all in various committees throughout this building are dealing with right now, or working to deal with right now. Additionally, they emit heavy metals, and the synthetic rubber compounds will also be released into the air, soil, and the water systems. The brake systems release copper, iron, asbestos, and other toxic metals that also further degrade air quality and water quality. The environmental damage from the road dust and tire particles come when it washes into the rivers and into the oceans. And as you can imagine, a state 45 miles by 35 miles with 400 miles of coastline, we really have to be concerned about what gets into our oceans. It certainly pollutes water, and in doing so harms the delicate ecosystems in the aquatic environments, fish, flora, and other living things. The microplastic from the tires are one of the largest sources of oceanic plastic pollution right now. And I know that we're focusing on this in the Bottle Bill Commission. Microplastics are a big issue that we're just really starting to get serious about globally. The tire and road wear particles contribute to black carbon accumulation. That's what I was talking about in your tires. And it just is constantly released every time our cars go over bumps and continue to make these fine particles. Why would an environmental impact study be needed? It's a policy blind spot. It's something we really haven't been addressing in all of our other environmental efforts. I don't think it's necessarily a new issue. It's just that we've gotten so good with our tailpipe emissions that we aren't really focusing on these other areas. And this is an area that a study would help us to understand better. Certainly the urban air quality is something we deal with frequently in the building, and this would help to mitigate that. It would also lend information for sustainable materials development, where we could potentially look at tire material replacements, brake pad material replacements that aren't as offensive to the delicate ecosystems. And it could help us develop better road materials. It's truly a green mobility solution because we're tackling it as a problem from motor vehicles and road wear, as opposed to this motor vehicle versus that motor vehicle.